Okay, dear all participants, our class is beginning right now. Okay, let's everybody, good morning. Welcome to the T-Series online training, which is organized by Guangxi Vocational and Technical College. 各位同学们、老师们，大家早上好！欢迎大家来到由广西职业技术学院举办的中国茶线上培训系列课程。Today we are going to talk about how to serve and brew Chinese tea. 今天我们学习的课程呢，主要是教会大家如何泡好一杯中国茶。Okay, now I will give you some brief introductions on today's lecture. First lecture is Ms HUANG Biyan. She's got her bachelor degree in music pedagogy at Guangxi Arts University, and she got her master degree in musicology at Guangxi Arts University, and also she's a full-time teacher of Guangxi Vocational and Technical College. And our second lecturer is Ms Yang Huiyuan. She is graduate with her bachelor degree in English at Guangxi University for Nationalities, and she is graduate with master degree in international trade at Guangxi University, and also she is a full-time teacher of Guangxi Vocational and Technical College. And our third lecturer is Ms. Liu Pingping. She's got her bachelor degree in landscape at Wuhan University of Bioengineering, and got her master degree in horticulture at Wuhan Agricultural University, and she is also the full-time teacher of Guangxi Vocational and Technical College. Okay, now let's invite Ms. Yang Huiyuan to bring us the first class of the today. 杨老师这边可以开始了。
好。Good morning, everyone. I'm Yang Huiyuan from School of Agriculture, Engineering, Technology of Guangxi Vocational and Technical College. It's my great honor to deliver the lecture about Chinese tea art. Now I will share my topic from the following two aspects: the origin of tea art and savoring the good cup of tea. First of all, I will start with the origin of tea art. Tea art is the art of the skill of making and drinking tea. The art of tea in China is closely bound up with the habit of tea drinking. The process of brewing tea, the quality of tea, and enjoyment of tea sets, and the feeling of the tea drinking are main parts of tea art. Today, the pace of the life is increasing with social development and advancement. Enjoying tea art makes people relax their body and soul, as well as be away from noises. It becomes a good way of decompression. Chinese tea art is rich in content. It is a traditional culture formed by the accumulation of thousands of years of tea drinking habits. Tea art is a comprehensive art combined by people, tea, water, utensils, skills, and environment, which expresses spiritual aspiration from tea makers and tea drinkers. China is the birthplace of tea, and also the first country in the world to discover and consume tea. Located in southwest of Henduan Mountains and Yunnan Guizhou plateaus, is the cradle of tea plants. We still have many living tea trees, 100, even more than 1,000 years old. Some giant tea trees have heights of 20 meters and a trunk diameter of 1.5 meters. The discovering and using tea by Chinese can be traced to Shennong period. which was more than 5,000 years ago. Shen Nong was also called Emperor Yan, who was the headman of ancient tribe, the inventor of Chinese agriculture and Chinese medicine. The legend goes that Shen Nong tasted all kinds of plants in order to know functions of herbs. One day, he was poisoned by 72 different poisonous plants and found relief after tasting leaves from the tea tree. This legend is recorded in Shen Nong Ben Cao Jing. The same information also can be found in the classic of tea, written by Lu Yu. The tea drinking was primitively invented by the god of agriculture and was firstly heard from the Duke of Lu in the Zhou dynasty. All of this show that tea came into people's life originally as a lexiphomic. In thousands of years of tea history, tea drinking has been regarded as the symbol of preserving health by Chinese habitually. It can be said that for a long time in the past, tea was treated as a medicine rather than the food or a drink. At that time, people used tea in the same way as Shen Nong did, just picking the leaves and putting them directly into their mouth and chewing, I guess. People found that not only antidotal, tea is digestive as well. So they cooked tea together with other food, served as dishes. According to the records in Yanzi, spring and autumn annual in the spring and autumn periods, Yanying, the state of qi, often ate Ming Cai. Now that is in Chinese means tea vegetable. Tea also called Ming at that time. According to the historical documents, tea drinking and the tea trading activities appeared in the Bashu areas in today's Sichuan province as early as the Western Han Dynasty. From Guangya, a book on textile exegesis written by Zhang Yi in the Three Kingdoms period, we can see that tea leaves were mainly produced in Ba Anshu areas. At that time, the method of drinking tea was to make tea leaves into shape of cakes first, then roasted to steamed, pounded to powder, and then boiled or brewed with boiling water, along with Chinese onion and ginger. That was the earliest tea art in China. Techniques of roasting and grinding, which are basic forms of cranberry cake tea arts, already emerged. From the Han Dynasty to Wei, Jing, southern and northern dynasties is the period of Chinese Taoism and Buddhism grow vigorously. Taoism sought for longevity and immortality, held in esteem for light food. Tea is a light and has a certain healing function as well. Naturally becomes the beverage praised highly by Taoists. In addition, after Buddhism was introduced to China, monks drank abundant tea, which is very good for refreshing to keep them alert when they were meditating. The connection of tea and Buddhism laid the foundation for the development of tea art. In the Tang Dynasty, one of the China's golden ages, tea drinking became an art. During this period, there was born the tea sage Lu Yu, who wrote the first book about tea and the tea culture in the world history. That is the classic of tea. which promoted improvement about the art of tea drinking. In the book, Lu Yu tried to comprehensively present all known information about Chinese tea culture. It is divided into 3 sessions and 10 chapters, including the origin of tea, tea tours, tea picking, tea cooking, tea ceremony, and the famous tea producing areas. 15页，第15页。第15页，现在第15页，对，应该是下一页。好 ，The most common tea in the Tang Dynasty and before was tea cake, which was to make the leaves into the shape of cakes after slight fermenting, steaming, pounding, and molding. The way of tea drinking in the Tang Dynasty was the method of the drinking after cooking, also called drinking after boiling. Making tea with tea cakes required several steps. One first had to bake the cakes till dry and put them into paper bags to keep the fragrance. Then crush the cooked cakes into powder. When water was heated to slightly boil, people would put salt, sometimes with other seasoning, into water. Then ladled out some water for use later. At the same time, stir the boiled water remain in the kettle and put tea powder into the swirling vortex. Then wait it until the water was boiled for the 3rd time, and there appear tea foams. Put the ladled out water back to stop the boiling. At this moment, the foam was seized, and the tea was ready to be put into the tea bowls and served. The best quantity of each make was 3 bowls of tea liquids, 5 bowls the most. The tea must be drunk when it was warm. Before Lu Yu's time, people usually added many things into tea, made the tea a kind of thick soup called mingzhou. Now that it means tea porridge. Then Lu Yu pointed out the tea lost much of its natural flavor after being made into tea porridge. He suggested that only put salt into water during the procession of making tea and omit other ingredients. Influenced by Lu Yu, most people started drinking clear tea instead of porridge tea. This change produced a big effect on the development of tea art later. In the Song Dynasty, not only emerged dragon and the phoenix tea cakes, but also brought the food reformation of tea wares and tea art. Tea sprang up in the Tang Dynasty and flourished in the Song Dynasty. Tea producing and tea drinking were into the period of great prosperity. The way of tea drinking in the Song Dynasty changed into the method of dian cha from the method of cooking teas of the Tang Dynasty. The biggest difference is not to put tea into water to boil anymore. Instead, to pour boiling water on tea leaves several times. On the basis of dian cha, a game called tea competition was a test of dian cha skill. There were 2 standards to judge if the people win or lose. One was the color of the tea liquid should be pure white. The other was that the color of the foam should be freshly white. According to these standards, the person who kept the foam on the surface longer and made the watermark appear on tea utensils later would win the competition. It can be said that the main content of tea competition in Song Dynasty is group comments on tea making skill and the tea quality. in the late Yuan dynasty and the early Ming dynasty. As the skill of roasting grains developed, loose tea was gradually accepted and recognized by people and took the place of cake tea. The first emperor of the Ming dynasty, Emperor Zhu Yuanzhang, was born in the farmer family. He understood and sympathized the suffering of the tea planters. So he issues an edict to dismiss paying cake tea, which was for the tribute tea, and made loose tea become popular. The growing up of loose tea brought great change in the way of tea drinking and caused the tea art being perfected day by day. The method of preparing tea was altered due to the change. Simply pouring boiling water on the loose leaves, called 月饮, means soaking tea, which is very easy and convenient. In the period of Ming and Qing dynasties, the amount and the size of tea houses were much larger than the Song dynasty and before. Drinking loose tea was very simple and convenient, which not only advanced tea house running, but also initiates an upsurge of tea drinking fashion in the whole society. In addition to serving tea, the tea houses added performance such as folk opera and storytelling. And some houses also provide wine and food. The popularity of tea house promoted the development of tea art. People pay more attention on water, fire control, and the teaware. During this period of time, the black glazed teaware prevailing in the Song dynasty was gradually replaced by white porcelain teaware and the Bacaro teaware. Now, Chinese people love tea and the tea drinking, so they developed tea art, which combines tea culture and the making brewing tea and the drinking tea, an elegant art activity. So the next, I will cover the second part, how to taste a nice cup of tea. Tea art includes the 6 elements, which are tea, water, utensils, people, skill, and environment. A good combination of these 6 elements could be perfectly extraordinary. A good cup of tea requires good tea leaves, good water, and good tea utensil, all 3 of which are indispensable. More importantly, you need to know how to identify the quality of tea and water and the master ratio of tea and water, as well as the best water temperature and the brewing time for different teas. Tea is the leading part of tea arts. While selection and arranging of water, utensils, people, skill, and the environment are on the purpose of showing the beauty of tea. Therefore, how to choose a good quality tea? It can be boiled down to the 3 checks, 3 smells, 3 tastes, and the 3 aftertastes. Three checks means the first check is to look at the shape and the color of dry tea. Good quality tea has low water content, which can be identified by your fingers. If you crush the tea leaves with your thumb and index finger, they will turn to powder. This means that the tea leaves are fresh or well stored. The second check is to look at the color of tea liquid. Good quality tea must be clear and have certain brightness and clarity. The third check is to look at the brewed tea leaves. That is to see the fully stretched tea leaves or barks after brewing, after being brewed. Good tea should be tender and the leaves are even and complete without hot porry, burned spots, red fever, or the stalks. 3 sniffs refer to dry sniffing, hot sniffing, and cold sniffing. Dry sniffing refers to smell the fragrance of the dry tea carefully to distinguish if it has stale and moldy aroma or other peculiar odor. Hot sniffing refers to smell the fragrance immediately after the tea is infused. We should know that good quality tea has a pure and a refreshing aroma. 3 tasting includes tasting the fire skill, tasting the flavor, and tasting the combination. Specifically, tasting the fire skill refers to judge whether the heat in the tea processing is too excessive, sufficient, or insufficient. The second is to taste the tea flavor, let the tea liquid run through your mouth and contact your tongue completely to feel that the taste is strong, refreshing, sweet, mellow or bitter, weak or astringent. Yuan Mei, the great scholar in Qing Dynasty, said that while drinking tea, people should slowly drink it and feel its special taste. It means keeping the tea liquid in mouth and slowly taste it to feel its smoothness when the tea runs through your throat. Only if you taste tea with deep emotion will you appreciate the fragrance of good tea, clear, sweet, and lively, as well as the wonderful charm of tea. 29. As the old saying goes, tea ware gives life to tea. Tea wares are not only the career of the tea, but also the medium for us to appreciate tea. The exquisite and unique tea utensils are not only the kind of sensory enjoyment, but also an expression of deep emotions when entertaining guests and friends. If you want to make a good cup of tea, you must understand the tea utensils and know how to use them. 洪老师有盖碗吗？再给我一个。Okay, now there are many Chinese tea wares. Yes, let's pick a few and get to know them. Okay, now for example, yes, this is covered tea bowl, also called gaiwan. Yeah, it can be used as a tea making utensil or as teacup to drink tea directly. Yes, now the covered bowl is also called 三才 cup, which loosely translates into harmony of heaven, earth, and the people. Now here, the lid of the covered bowl representing the heaven. Yes, the cup itself as human being and the saucer below as earth. So the cover bowl is, yes, it's a good blessing, good blessing. And 公道杯. Okay, thank you. And now this glass is also called bear mark. Now means 公道 cup. Now which is used to hold the tea and make tea sense density and the taste throughout before serving the tea to guests into the tea tasting cup. Hence, it is called a fair mark. Yeah, the function of layer mark is to balance the balance of thickness of the tea soup. Well, the selection of tea sets generally should consider the following three aspects. First, practicality. Second, the value, appreciation, and collection. Third, be helpful to bring out the best of tea. Generally speaking, glass cups are suitable for brewing green tea or tender teas, which are easy to appreciate the color of tea soup, the beauty of the tea leaves, and movement of the tea leaves in the brewing process. The covered tea bowl is suitable for brewing all kinds of teas, such as scented tea, white tea, black tea, pu'er tea, and even green tea. The purple clay teapot is suitable for brewing dark tea, pu'er tea, oolong tea, old age white tea, and black tea. Good tea requires good water, because only in that way can tea have a good taste. So tea lovers from ancient time to the present have always taken water as the key points in the tea drinking. Water suitable for tea has to be live, sweet, clear, and light. Lu Yu wrote in his The Classic of Tea that water in mountains is best, in river is okay, and in wells is second rate. So we can see that using different water, the result can be a word different. The art of Chinese tea emphasizes the coexistence of physical, artistic, humanistic, and the mental environments. The physical environment refers to the place where tea is tasted. Chinese tea art pursues the serene and the quiet beauty of nature. Some of the best places for appreciation tea are in bamboos, under shadows of pine trees, along the creeks, and down the green rocks. These natural environments are the most appropriate sites for the tea drinkers to get rid of their secular distractions. Yet nowadays, people drink tea mostly in-house. A fine indoor environment for appreciating tea should have a clear and a clean window and the tables with plain and the simple decoration, decent and refined style, and a warm atmosphere. The artist environment refers to the merrymaking of the 6 arts: idle playing, chess, calligraphy, painting, pottery, and the collection and appreciation of cultural relics and antiques. To create the artistic environment with music helps people to cultivate taste. Besides calligraphies and the paintings by masters, as well as antiques, can also help to provide the decent and the traditional artistic environment. Humanistic environment refers to the cultural and social atmosphere, influenced by the number and the quantity of tea guests. Tea art allows for quite some people present together, but doesn't welcome many people with different backgrounds. One person appreciating tea reads the essence and the spirit, Two people appreciation tea find fun while drinking to each other. And three or more people appreciating tea get wisdom together. Mental environment relies on the guest's understanding of life. Fine mental state may affect other people. One should come into the quiet and refined mental state when tasting tea. If you want to enjoy a good cup of tea, you must master some tips of making tea. The first step is to know the volume of your teapot, which determines how much tea you need. The general rule of the thumb is to use 2 grams of tea leaves per cup of water. That is, if 1.5 teaspoons is equal to 2 grams, you have to add 3 spoons of tea leaves when you use a teapot with a volume of about 300 milliliters. As to the temperature of water, it is generally agreed that the boiling water is not always the best. If the water temperature is not properly controlled, the tea will lose its original flavor. There are 3 types of water temperature for brewing tea. Low temperature is about 75 to 85 centigrade degree. The medium temperature is 85 to 95 centigrade degree, and the high temperature is about 95 to 100 centigrade degree. The water temperature for different tea types vary a little. In general, the more tender tea leaves are, the lower water temperature is. For example, Longjing tea and Beiluochun tea are non-fermented green tea, which are made of tender barks and leaves. Therefore, the brewing temperature is generally 80 to 85 centigrade degree. The tea brewed in this way is green and bright. The taste is fresh and brisk, and the vitamin C in tea is less damaged. While brewing Baihao silver needle tea or TPT, black tea, white tea, and leaf green tea, it is better to brew with the boiling water of 85 to 95 centigrade degree. As for oolong tea and the pu'er tea, they must be brewed with 100 centigrade degrees boiling water because their tea leaves are old. The way of showing courtesy in tea art includes the gesture of bowing, gesture of indicating by palm, and the gesture with implied meaning. The gesture of bowing can be finished in a standing, sitting, or kneeling manner. Gesture of indicating by palm is a behavior indicating the meaning of please or thank you, which is also the common way of showing courtesy in tea performance. Gesture with implied meaning refers to the behaviors of etiquette formed in the tea-related activities to indicate happiness and blessings. When boiling or brewing the tea, the host and the guest are able to communicate without using words. The most common types of gesture with implied meaning include the following. The first is 3 nods of phonics. Now that is the tea server raises the kettle up and down to pour the water for 3 times, indicating 3 welcoming bows to the guests. Second is rotating water in inward circle. Now, if single hand water rotating is adopted in injection water, pouring, warming up teacups and heating the kettle, it is required the right and the left hand do relevant work in the counterclockwise and the clockwise direction, respectively. This behavior is similar to the gesture of greetings, meaning welcome, welcome, welcome. Conversely, the gesture will become the sign of rejecting someone. The third is placing the tea kettle. The third is placing the tea kettle. The mouth of the kettle cannot point to others directly. Otherwise, it means that the one who faces the mouth is asked to leave at once. When pouring, it is enough that the tea water covers the teacup, indicating 7/10 of tea, 3/10 of affection. The fourth one is refilling the cup. Refill the tea water for the guest in time. Never let the guest see the bottom of the cup. It means taking your time to drink tea and talk. When the host pours tea for the guests do not need to say thank you. Just point out their fingers on the table for the few taps, which is the tacit code among the tea lovers. If you pour tea for your peers, just bring your index and the middle fingers together and tap on the table 3 times to show respect. When the elder pours tea to the younger generation, the younger person should make a fist with his right hand. The back of the fist is up and tap the table for 3 times with 5 fingers to express respect to the elders. When juniors pour tea for elders, elders can tap the finger on the edge of the cup or tap the rim of the teacup 3 times to show his appreciation. The tea ceremony is not the same as the tea art. It pays attention not only to the form of expression, but also to the spiritual connotation. The spirit of Chinese tea ceremony is harmony, peace, joy, and sincerity. Harmony is the core of Chinese philosophy, also the soul of tea ceremony. The foundation of being a human being, peace is the only way to practice Chinese tea ceremony, and it is the basic tea people's soul. Joy means happiness, which is necessary for the spirit of tea tasters. The process of tasting tea, you can get physical and mental pleasure. Sincerity is the ultimate pursuit of the Chinese tea art. Through the practice of the tea art, people can achieve indifference to fame and wealth, peace and the long-term development, and pursue the true meaning of life. Anyway, it is uniqueness of Chinese tea culture to integrate philosophy, ethics, morality, and so on into the tea activities. People can savor life, practice meditation, cultivate morality and sentiments while tasting tea. 48. Tea is a fine gift of the nature. It reminds one of serenity and the peace and greeting people with elegant aroma. In tea, we find art, prosperity, and our journey ahead. Chinese tea culture values harmony and sincerity. Chinese people make friends and treat guests with tea. On a new journey, Chinese tea will once again function as an envoy of harmonious coexistence between the economy and the culture of China and the rest of the world. Okay, so this is what I want to share with you today about Chinese tea art. Followed by my colleague, Ms. Huang. Yes. Now, she will show you the tea art in the Song Dynasty. Thank you for your listening. Thank you.
好的，杨老师 ，Thank you, Ms. Yang, to bring us such a wonderful lecture about the tea art and the tea culture. Okay, dear all participants, our first session about our class, is just done now. Okay, the whole class consists of 3 parts, and the second and the last third part, we are going to invite the teacher to show you how to make a cup of Chinese tea in different ways. So now please wait up for a second, because the teacher needs to do some preparations for the class. You can see from the camera, online camera, the teacher we're going to prepare some tea sets to teach you how to make a cup of tea. So everybody please wait up for a second for the teacher to do the practice to show you how to make Chinese tea. And later we will invite Ms. Huang Biyan to teach you guys how to make a cup of tea. Okay. So please do not leave the room. Just wait up for a second. So guys, now you can see from the online camera, and Ms. Huang Biyan is preparing all the tea tools and tea sets, and later she's just going to use all the tools to show you how to make a cup of tea in Song Dynasty. Yeah. Okay, it seems teacher is already prepared. So let's class begin. Let's have.
Okay, now let's welcome to the class of the methods of Diancha in the Song Dynasty. Now, in the Song Dynasty, China's tea cultures reached its peak. Tea drinking was the fashion among the princes and the ministers, scholars and the monks, merchants and the gentlemen, and even the general people. The method of drinking tea mainly refers to tea making. In the painting, Rending the Tea by Liu Songnian, a painter in the Southern Song Dynasty, shows the specific process of Diancha in the Song Dynasty. This was the origin of the modern tea feast. Okay, so now let's get to know this appliance on the painting. Okay, now Okay, now I will show you some tea sets will be used in the brewing Diancha. Now that is the teacups. Tea wicks. Tea powder box. Teapot. incense pot 建水 water basin 掌托 and tower tea tower. Okay, so the 点茶 methods on the following mainly refer to the records on tea from Chaixiang and the treatise on the tea in the Daguan era from Zhaoji in the Song dynasty. Now let's start preparing tea together. The first step is tea preparation. Tea preparation mainly refers to the processing of stored tea cake to facilitate the process 点茶, the best tea soup. Now we will use the fire to bake the tea cakes. In order to make the tea cake become dried. So afterwards, we use a tea mill to crush the tea cake. Now let's crush the tea cakes into the powder. After grinding, we will use a sieve to sift it several times so that the tea powder is fine enough to make the foam out of the heat. It's more delicate and beautiful. Now our teacher show you how to grind the tea into the tea powder.我可以先说后汤吗？到了，前面的啊，那先说了哦，把它讲完了哈。So the next step is waiting for soup. Waiting for water to boil. The next step is waiting for the water to boil. 现在到这里，到茶粉。哦，那okay, so now this is the tea powder. Yeah, tea powder 是什么？看见吗？看得见。那这是茶粉。对。后糖就是那个上。Now, the next step is waiting for soup. Now we can boil the water until the boiling. In ancient times, people had to learn to listen to the sounds. Can someone tell me how to know whether the water is boiling? When you cannot see the state of water in the pot, can only distinguish it by sound. After the water is boiled, we start to 卸盏. That is, use boiled water to warm the teacup or warm the teacup directly. By doing so, we can make the tea powder suspend better on the water in the bowl. 就调高了。现在打什么？温具。Now, before making pesto, we have to warm the teacup in order to clean the tea bowl. Clean the tea tools. And then we scooped the tea powder in the tea caddy with a teaspoon. Just one spoon, one scoop, one spoon. Then boiling some water. Just a little. When the tea powder is poured into the soup and the tea powder is evenly mixed into the soup with a whisk. Now you can see the surface of tea soup will form a thick milky white foam just like snowflakes. But now the diancha and the tea preparation is complete. The soup should be filled with 好。Now we use our right hands to mix the tea powder into the and the water into green. The soup should be filled with water and the cream should be adjusted to no particles or bubbles. And then continue to refill the water. And keep stirring. Let's continuously stir the tea soup until the white and the rich bowl is made. The method of stirring the water just up and down. Do not circle it. Pouring more water and keep stirring. In order to get thick foam. Now you can see the tea water has changed. The color of tea water has changed, and the rich foams was coming to being. Now the tea is ready. The tea soup is pure white and with a thick film on the surface of tea soup. 现在要画什么？要拿什么？现在是干啥？茶百戏了？我都不知道用到哪里了。这些写的都不太一样呢。我直接到茶百戏了吧啊？对，喝水了，对的。那现在先要做什么准备？
为什么是为什么动作？这个喝的是上面的这层泡沫。
现在就说了，不要说话了。Okay, so now the tea is ready. You can enjoy the special taste of the tea, especially the white foams on the surface. You can drink tea just like Ms Huang.
这就是喝成下面的这个沫沫，又反复鸡蛋，然后去介绍茶百戏，介绍我们的前景论这块，来论这块，对，新茶论这块。
On the basis of Dian Cha, the Song Dynasty literary also developed rich ways of playing tea. They had competitions on tea quantity and tea playing methods. Now the steps of Cha Bai Xi is called dividing tea. We pick up some tea powder and mix it together. Into the paste. And then we can draw the picture. We can draw the picture on the surface of the tea soup. The people of the Song Dynasty did some pictures like birds, animals, insects, fish, flowers, and the plants, which are dedicated Okay, so this is the work. Yeah, this is the work Ms. Huang had done. So could you show me what your tea look like? You can appreciate the pictures drawing in the tea soup or in the tea bowl. So that's all for today's lecture about Dian Cha in the Song Dynasty.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Huang, to show us how to make Dian Cha. Thank you for the whole lecture of how to make Dian Cha. So let's move to the next part, and we will invite another lecturer to show us make a cup of Chinese tea in different ways. And just now we see how to make a Dian Cha. Actually, Dian Cha is kind of a special type of tea in Song Dynasty. Actually, this is my first time to see the whole process of making a tea. Now, everybody please give the teacher a second to prepare the lecture of how to make a cup of Chinese tea in another way. So please wait up for a second.
我看一下，好像刚刚那些他讲那个他都不太像，真的是他没有时间弄的。我肯定老师这应该是没有错的，赶紧看一下有没有。
Okay, guys, the teacher Liu Pingping will show us how to make a cup of Chinese tea. So please wait up a second. We can see it from the online camera that Ms. Liu Pingping now is preparing the tea sets. Our lecture will begin later. Please wait up for a second. Thanks for your cooperation.
就稍后休息，先填上那个链接。
So dear participant, you can check in the chat box and fill in the certificate link.
Okay, now you guys, you can see we just send the certificate link into the chat box. During the teacher preparing the whole tea sets, you can click the link and fill the form to get your certificate.
So dear participants from Indonesia, now is our third part to how to do 3 types of tea, and it's for their following as green tea, black tea, and white tea. So you can keep up with our pace and follow our lead to do and to make a tea by your own.
Hello, friends from RITC. If possible, you can also prepare the tea set now. We will start the tea. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
We will start the tea brewing, and you can prepare the tea set now. And first is the green tea. 先介绍它的外形。
现在介绍吗？还是怎么说？你说的。
Okay, now we can see the teacher is ready and our lecture is beginning. Let's invite the Ms. Liu Pingping to bring us the lecture. Thank you.
那你就先说先泡的是哪个产品先说一下，比如说我们说这款先是上头发的话就是是一路，下头发的话是日光姐，你看一下是不是？
这从这里开始是吧？
就是说那个上下头的话，你要对一下，错了就可以。第二款茶是
第二款是西红柿
西红柿，第三款茶是
第三款是下头，没有说是怎么吃。按时吧，不是。
下头发不是按时运动，
下头
黄山毛肤，就是这样的，就是这样摆的是对的。开始，那这个还是根据那个先介绍前面的意思。
Dear all, now please allow me to teach you how to brew different types of tea. If you already prepared the tea sets, you can join us to brew it by yourself. First of all, let's brew green tea. Green tea takes the largest proportion in production and consumption among the major types of tea in China. Today, we are going to brew 3 different green teas, namely 恩施玉露 tea, and this one is 西湖龙井 tea. And the third one is 黄山毛峰 tea. Enshi Yulu tea is produced in Enshi, Hubei province, with a needle-shaped appearance. We can see that its shape is slender and straight like a needle. As we adopt steam to do the fixation, it looks more verdant in color. The second tea is West Lake Longjing, which is produced in Hangzhou, Zhejiang province. It is flat in shape and has bright green in color. Also, it has a prolonged history in China. Emperor Qianlong of the Qing dynasty very adopted Longjing tea, and in order to taste a sip of Longjing tea, he went to the south of Yangtze River 7 times, reaching to the major producing area of Longjing. The third one is Huangshan Maofeng tea, with the shape like the bird's tongue. It is produced in Anhui province. Mostly, the color is yellowish green, especially in one of its branches, Yinghao tea. Now today we will use the transparent glass to brew the green tea. The reason for choosing the glass cup is because we can better observe the color of tea. These green teas are all picked in spring, so we can also feel the spring in 1 cup of tea. Now let's start cleaning the tea wares. We use hot water to clean the tea sets. There are 2 reasons for cleaning tea wares. The first reason is to clean the tea wares to show our respects to the guests. And the second is because the tea baths can better spread out in the one vessel. Normally, the ratio between the water and tea is 1 to 50. The capacity of the cup we use today is 200 milliliters. Now today we will introduce 3 different ways to brew these 3 kinds of teas. Namely, 上头, adding tea from top, 中头法, the method of the adding tea from the middle, and 下头法, that is adding tea from the bottom. Now for Enshi Yulu tea, this type of tea leaves are easy to sink. So it is suitable for 上头 brewing method. By using this method, we can see the beauty of stretching in the process, the sinking leaves. So let's see for a while. 上头 This method is called adding tea from the bottom, from the top. Adding tea from the top. Now you can appreciate the tea leaves and the tea soup. Okay. Now let's set aside this one for 2 to 3 minutes and start to brew the second type of tea, Westlake Longjing tea. For this kind of tea, we use 中头 brewing method, that is adding the tea leaves from the middle. First, we add water in the cup, making 1/3 of the volume. Then we can put the tea leaves in it and adding water again until it is 70% full. Westlake Longjing tea has flat shape, so it is not suitable to use 上头 brewing method because the tea leaves are easy to float on the surface, but not to sink. Therefore, it is more suitable to use the adding tea leaves from the middle brewing method. The third type of tea is brewed with the 下头 brewing method, that is adding tea from the bottom. This method will make the tea leaves stretch faster. And tea will be leached easily with stretching bars, which has the aesthetic value in the brewing. Okay, now let's compare the 3 types of tea and look at their colors after brewing. The first one is 恩施玉露. Its color is relatively clear and the taste is quite plain. For the Westlake Longjing tea, its color is more turbid and the taste is more strong because we pour water after putting tea leaves. Now, when we would like to have a cup of tea, we can choose different ways of brewing tea according to our preference. Next, let's taste these teas together. 一起尝一下。喝一下恩施玉露啊。For 恩施玉露 tea, its color is very clear and bright. The aroma is lasting, and the taste is fresh and sweet. Its distinctive features are following: green in tea leaf, green in brewing, and green in the tea dregs. The second, the second one, West Longjing tea, is characterized by its green color, fresh fragrance, sweet taste, and its shape. Now, this cup of tea is apricot green and tastes more strong and fresh. The third one, Huangshan Maofeng tea, is yellowish green in color and sweet in the texture, with a strong aroma. Now, when we make green tea in the glass cup, we can continue to add water to brew it when it is 2/3 left in the cup. Now it is called 留根 brewing. That means we can brew the tea again without adding new leaves. So now brewing in these ways can balance the texture, even we have brewed the tea several times. Okay, now this is how we brewed green tea. Next, we will brew the black tea. Oh. Oh.
Okay, dear student, please wait up a second, and the teacher will going to introduce you how to make a Chimen black tea and show you the brewing skills. So the teachers are now preparing for the tea sets. Please wait up a second. Thank you for your cooperation.
Now, when brewing black tea, the white porcelain teaware is the best choice. Now we can choose the white porcelain tea sets. A cover tea boat. And some tasting teacups. Today we will have prepared one type of black teas. That is Kimen black tea. Kimen black tea is quite famous in China with its long history. The shape of this tea is tight and thin, just like people's eyebrows. Oh. 有吗？不是，在哪里？我都看不见。Okay, so dear friends, you can change the tea vessels. I think the white porcelain teawares are suitable for brewing the black tea. Well, so can you change another set of the teawares? Mm. Mm. 你教他用一下那个白瓷好吗？跟他说了，他没懂。他还是用玻璃的，跟他说了，他们没有换。不，其实哦，是不是两个不一样的角？对对对。 介绍一下这个茶哦。Now, Kimon black tea, which is very famous in China with its long history. Now, the shape of this tea is as tight and thin as like people's eyebrows. And its color is dark, black dark. And together with the India's Darjeeling black tea and Sri Lanka's black tea, it is also known as three most famous teas in the world with strong scent. It is also called the Queen of the Black Tea and can be seen as representative Chinese tea to the world. The teawares we use today to brew black tea is made of white porcelain, which can better reflect the color of the tea soup. Now let's warm the teacup. The functions of the warming teacup is to clean the teacups. Also can help the tea to brew it. Now that's warming the teacups. Cleaning the teacups and discarding it. Yes, now let's pour the water to wash all of the tea sets. And then we put the tea leaves into the porcelain teacup, into the cover bowl. The ratio of tea to water for brewing black tea is also at 1:50. Today we weighed 3 grams of tea leaves. Now, when we brew the black tea, the temperature is suggested to be controlled at 90 centigrade degree. Now, and we're supposed to leave the tea aside for 15 seconds. And then put it out into the fair marks. Divide the tea soups into each tasting cup. Now we got a cup of Kimon black tea. And please, let's taste it. 你们尝一下。 Wow, it has very unique aroma. Yes, that we call Kimen scent. Yeah, Kimen fragrance. It smells like flowers, honey, orchids, and fruit. Well, so its color is red and bright. Its texture is fresh and mellow. Yeah. That tastes good. But so now, yes, now let's brew for the second time. Now, okay, this is how we brewed black tea. So for all the participants from Indonesia, yes, are ready for brewing the black tea.
这还挺好的，但是他们吃不。
我们帮下刘老师换，可能要换那个白茶了。这个真的好喝。
等一下啊，下一个也是这一套器具，要洗一下，我们
其实洗不洗都行，要不要帮你一下？
我先喝完这个，不着急。
给他们先泡，我们喝，你们也喝一下吧，大家都喝一杯吧。西门红茶哦，喝一下。我刚才这个量可能大了一点，有点苦。
这还有一杯呢。把血烧了。
哎，我觉得真的好适合喝红茶哦。哎，你们都喜欢这个味道哈。终于喝到水了，真的。
Okay, dear all participate from Indonesia, and now the teachers and the staff, they were just tasting the black tea right now, and they are going to clean the tea wares, and then the teacher will going to show you how to brew Bai Hao Yin Zhen. It's kind of a white tea. So please wait off a second, and later the teacher will come back to show you the skills. Thanks for your cooperation.
对，像刚才用有水了啥的，没事，这个一会儿要洗，不要烫。
Okay, next we will brew the white tea. We need some time to make some preparation. 他们也在用白瓷啊。他们这个是省瓶的杯子。嗯。省瓶杯。
这个是什么？你可以翻盖碗。
对呀。嗯。差不多了。观众们12点钟不到就已经讲完了。
我们要不要换一个透明的通道这样？就换一个那个哦，在这里。
这有2个。嗯，可以了。
因为他们有都不好看一
嗯
点，看汤色的话。
好。
对对。
那我们就先介绍这个白茶啊。嗯。Okay, so now today we have prepared one type of white teas, that is Baihao silver needle tea. Now, first of all, let's take a look at the shape. The shape of this tea is delicate. It only has single bud, which is straight and thick, and the color is a gray-green and like a jet. Now let's brew this tea. Before brewing, we still need to clean the tea sets with the boiling water. The teaware we use today for brewing white tea is a cover bowl, which can better leach the color, fragrance, and the flavor of the tea. Now we warm and clean the teawares. Now, generally speaking, the ratio of tea to water is controlled at 1:50. So we use 5 grams of tea. Baihao silver needle is very delicate. So the temperature is at 80 centigrade degrees is enough. Okay, after cleaning and warming the teawares, we can put 5 grams of tea leaves into the cover bowl. And then adding some water into the bowls until 70% full. Cover the lid. Waiting for 30 seconds. Now we can put the tea soup into the fair mug.
不洗，
是真的好白。他们不是说是杏黄色吗？And then I divided the tea soup into the tea tasting cups. Now you can see the tea soup is apricot yellow in color. Now enjoy your cup of tea. Now you can smell the tea. Yes, the mild and the tender aroma. Yeah, it tastes fresh and mellow. Yeah, it looks like the kind of the tender aroma. Yeah, tender aroma. Yeah, so delicious. Now let's brew the second time.
他们就不用等，他们就大概学我这样。
The second steeping time is about 15 seconds. Yeah, the 15 seconds is okay. Yeah, pouring the tea soups into the fair mug again. As you can smell the aroma of the brewed tea leaves. Yes. The color of tea soups apricot yellow. Yeah, it tastes sweet. And mellow. Yeah, it tastes good. Okay, now this is how we brewed white tea. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask.
Okay, now, dear all participants, thanks for the teachers to bring us such a wonderful lecture about the basic knowledge about the tea culture and how the skills of how to make a cup of Chinese tea. And the lecture part now is over, and I think maybe you can learn a lot about the tea culture and the tea art, and maybe you also learn some basic skills of how to making a Chinese tea. And now let's move to the next session. It's our QA sessions, and you can feel free to type the questions into the chat box, and the teacher will answer your questions. Yeah, if you got any questions to want to ask the teacher, feel free to type in the chat box.
就是问我们需要在泡茶之前先冲洗对茶的液是什么？
为什么洗茶的？
洗茶是要看茶的这个老嫩来，还有 主要是看它的一个原料。如果比较细嫩的茶呢，它就不会洗，像红绿茶，它原料很细嫩，它就不洗。那么像一些紧压茶，或者是存储的时间比较久的这一类茶，会洗一下啊，因为它时间长了，它上面肯定会积灰尘嘛。那么紧茶的话呢，你洗的话是为了让它，因为第一泡它不出味，你可能要洗到方便后面才能把它的味道泡出来。
So for the question, do we need to rinse the tea leaves first? So our teacher says that it depends on the types of tea. If we have the black tea or green tea, it is kind of tender one, so we don't need to rinse the tea leaf first. But for the tea case or the teas we have storage for years, we need to rinse the tea leaf first to clean the dust or clean other things on the surface. Thank you.
盖碗和茶壶，功夫茶当中盖碗和茶壶的不同是吗？我觉得这个怎么，它想表达什么？
它是用盖碗还是用壶？
就是它的那个叫什么？奉茶吗？还是
不是
那个
不是
你要看清楚。
他是说用盖碗来泡呢，还是用这个壶泡？就是可能就是紫砂壶啊，在功夫茶当中，它们有什么不一样的地方？用盖碗泡可不可以？我觉得先回答这个问题吧。用盖碗能不能泡功夫茶？可以的吧？
可以啊。
然后不同的地方是什么？这样讲可能好一些。来，你们专业点，你们回答。是不专业？
回答的可以啊，是这样子的。
就是可以用功夫茶。
然后可以用盖碗，
他想，而且他想知道不同之处，我们能不能说一下不同的地方啊？
我觉得它功夫茶其实现在在福建那边，他们更多的就是用盖碗泡，它反而用壶泡的少。它用那个，因为它现在它设置的那个盖碗，它就是比较小的110毫升的那个盖碗，就正好分几圈。正好就直接不用供到杯，就直接分到那个茶杯里面。所以它现在其实盖碗它也很适合泡功夫茶，它没有说一定要用那个紫砂壶去泡它啊。就是说茶具的话，其实我们在选择的这一个过程中，各个茶具它都是，比如说盖碗，它就是一个非常适用性的一个茶具，它无论是泡什么茶，它其实都可以的。对。
然后就是跟壶来说，盖碗的那个区别是它的容量小。
也不一定，有大的盖碗，也有小的壶。这一个的话，壶的话，你要讲一下它这个壶它的一个好的点在哪里？
或者你说
壶的话，紫砂壶它就是一个
保温好，
它的保温性能好，然后更易出茶味，然后聚香。对，所以很多人就喜欢用紫砂壶来泡。
So for the question, what is the difference about serving with 盖碗 and teapot in Gong Fu Cha? And yes, our teacher says we can still use 盖碗 to serve the Gong Fu Cha because the 盖碗, the advantage of 盖碗 is to make the tea lynch more in a short time. And then and it is more common in Fujian province. But for the teapot, it can be used to serve the 功夫茶 but it is not. 就是它有什么优点？
优点就是保温性好，
保温性好。
And it is suitable for keeping the warmth of tea.
然后吸收异味。
And to erase the smell of erase the smelling taste.
对。来把它用不同的茶具。我能问一下，当用不同的茶具的时候，不同材质的时候有什么不一样的地方？
材质
就不同的茶具
比如说玻璃茶具的话，它就是比较透明嘛，然后就是它的观赏性强，但是的话它烫手，这也是它的一个缺点。
一句句来，先翻译。
对。
So for the question that what's the difference when using different tea set material, for the glasses set tea set, it is more likely that we can see the color of tea and we can observe the appreciation the tea, but it will harm our hand because the high temperature.
这个是
然后像紫砂茶具的话，其实刚才也讲到，它的一个保温性能好啊。然后的话，泡出来的茶呢，它比较香，巨香。
紫砂的
purple clay。
And for the purple clay tea, it is for to gather the scent that within the tea cake, and it is more likely to we can taste the smell of the tea.
你可以说它特别适合泡什么茶，可能这样会更好些。比如说
泡
适合黑
黑茶
茶呀、红茶呀，这个非常
And the purple clay
适合泡
teapot
黑
is
茶、
suitable for making black tea
dark tea
and dark tea
and compressed tea。
and compressed tea.
那碗不用说了啊，换一个话题。上面还有哎，白茶也是什么 silver 银茶，我们之前交流过的那个银茶吗？哦，好吧，那就没有了。
So, dear participant, if you have any other question, welcome to type in the chat box.
还有人私聊我，前面说我关了摄像头是吗？哪个私聊了我一下？他说我关了摄像头，我不记得，我也不知道。How many spoon of tea in one and small kettle full of water？ 什么意思？一个小壶里边装满水的，要加多少勺茶叶，是吧？装满水要
这
多少
个主要是
茶量？
根据它的茶水比，因为你没有你这个小壶，这个壶的容量到底是多少，没有办法确定。也就是说，每个茶它都有适合的这一个茶水比，茶水比控制好，它就不会错。
就是 the ratio of tea to water。但是这个它是私聊的，可以问一下他。
就是
把这个问题提出
对，
来
把这个问题我就问。
那你重复一下这个问题吧。How many spoon？
And for the question, how many spoon of tea in one small kettle full of water? It depends on the ratio of water and tea leaf. So different types of tea has different ratios. So when you handle the ratio well, it is more likely to make a good cup of tea.
你可以举个例子给他吧。
比如红绿茶就是1:50的茶水比。
So for example, the black tea and green tea ratio of water and leaf is 1 to 50. 这里有个问题就是，我们泡中国茶的时候是否会加茶？就是有这种做法。
其实现在就是茶，它的种类比较多，有轻饮，有调饮。如果说我们说是轻饮的话，就是纯茶，不加任何的佐料。如果说调饮，但是调饮现在它也是很火的一个趋势啊，它也有就是在中国应该2种类型都存在。
那你可以说那个调饮茶，就调饮茶可以加糖、加奶可以加一些其他水果什么的啊，可以举个例子。
So for the question, do you have Chinese sweet tea or Chinese sweet tea served with sugar? We have two major types of tasting tea. It is depends on your preference. You can drink the tea purely without any season, but you can still season sugar in the tea, and it is different types of different from the puring drinking.
他说什么 ？I remember green tea can be, but I don't know the other。他是不是想说他觉得绿茶是可以，他记得绿茶是可以这样做的，但是其他茶能不能是吗？
可以，都可以，
都可以。
那你就跟他说一下，就是说每种茶类都可以进行调饮吧。
Yeah, you can add different type of season in the tea. Different type of tea. It depends on your preference.
但是中国人比较喜欢轻饮，怎么强调？
And for our Chinese, we more likely to drink tea purely without any sugar or any other season dressing。然后老师们建议就是我们浸泡那个茶的时间过于长，就是他说
过于就是说
他说要
能不能把它浸泡的更长一点？
对他就是
这个浸泡时间，比如说在审评里面，我们每一类茶在冲泡的时候，它是有准确的时间要求的。比如说红绿茶、白茶，它的浸泡时间都是5分钟，5分钟。那通过审评，它主要是为了就是把茶的这种优缺点，能够很客观的把它呈现出来。就这是一种，但是一些后面还有一个就是我们冲泡。
So for professional evaluation, we suggest that you can soak the tea cake, for example, like black tea and green tea in 5 minutes.
只是在审评
Yes,
evaluation
yes,
tea evaluation。
it only focus on the evaluation process.
客观的去评判大家的好坏。
但是生活中我们冲泡是
对日常
不需要那么
生活
长时间的
冲泡的话就不需要那么久。
So for our daily life, it depends on your preference. It is no need to be 5 minutes. You can choose by your own.
Do you have any？ 没有，就是上次对。其实他刚才讲的那个泡茶那个长度的话啊，我觉得其实每种茶还不一样，
对，不一样。它这种也是，其实根据茶的这种原料来看，紧压茶我们时间就久，散茶时间就稍微短一点。
你看看它，这个是白茶啊，
对，
你看虽然颜色不出来，但味道已经出来了，30秒钟就够了。
So, dear participant, if you have any other question, welcome to type out in the chat box or turn on your mic to communicate with our teacher.
再加了。我们是坐着还是要站着？
对，然后我们后面结束的有3位老师在跟后面这个牌子来讲。对，是到时候我把这个先撤了，3位老师这个牌。
我可以招呼那个主持人。所以下一个可能
Yes, Lin， 你可以下一趴了，合影。
Okay. Okay, if there is no questions, we are going to move to the next session. It's our group photo sessions. Okay, dear all participants online, please turn on your camera. Let's take a group photo of the teachers. Hello, everybody. Please turn on your camera. Let's take a group photo with teachers.
你可以切到第1页了。
好的，我马上切。
坐到那边是吗？
我们站过去是吧？
苏老师，
你的颜色我要不要隔一下？你们2个是一样的。哎，你们为什么我跟你们颜色？
好了吗，Luke？
再等2分钟。
好，待会儿你让我关的时候，我再停止共享啊。
好，你现在
就停在第1页是吧？
对，现在停在第1页。
我这边看不全，你那边倒数一下吧。
可以，开麦
开了，3、2、1。3、2、1。你可以关了，然后我们再来。对。
Okay, one more time, please.
这时候你可以自己喊了。
好的。Okay, guys, one more photos, please. Yeah, we are going to 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do it again. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay. Thank you, guys. Okay, I think this is a lecture today, and now we are going to share the certificate link into the chat box. Yeah, please help us to fill the form.
是好，
Yeah, I already sent the certificate link into the chat box, and now you can just click the link and fill the form to get your certificate. Thank you guys, and our lecture is over now.
来，我这个都没开，刚才坐下来，我们跟他们拜拜一下。
这里那个啊，行，我们过来跟他们
等一下 ，say goodbye。
And the teacher is going to say goodbye with us.
看上再见，Hello，拜拜。Goodbye, dear friends。好了吧？我们离开了。笑死了。拜拜。拜拜。没有，我真的要。
Okay, dear participants, I already sent the link, certificate link into the chat box. Yeah, you can click the link and get your participate.
OK， 结束了，你可以结束了，拜拜，拜拜，886，886。
好 ，OK， 那我待会儿再关吧，再等几分钟吧。
吗，哥？你是主持人，你结束就好了。
就是我再等几分钟，结束可以吗？
结束会议就好了，我听不到，哥。